Alright, so I really hate the Street Fighter movie. I'm about to go for a run in case you're wondering, but you don't want my life story, you want this searing hot take. I hate the Street Fighter movie because not only is it a bad movie, it is a bad video game adaptation, it is a bad action film, it is a bad use of absolutely everybody's time, and the only redeeming quality in it is, of course, Raul Julia, but that doesn't count, it doesn't get a pass for that, because you could have, like, experimental Halloween dentistry, and provided Raul Julia was doing it, you'd still say it was quite good. Like, if you had a nice afternoon, I'm not going to my rooms. Like, that doesn't count. Anyway, in the movie Street Fighter, which is a complete garbage dog fire of a film, there is a scene in which Chun-Li is talking to General Bison about how he once came to her village and he killed her father, and that's what's inspired her mission for revenge and high kicking and giant thighs and all that. And he goes, I don't remember this. And she's like, what? You don't remember this? You killed my father. And he goes, yeah, I know. Like, to you, the General Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But to me, it was Tuesday. And I just remember seeing that and going, that is the energy I want to have for the entire rest of my... Like, it flips the film on its head because he's the bad guy the whole way through. And as soon as he says that, like, he's still the bad guy. He's an unconscionable bad guy, but it's just like, yeah... That's what I want to be. I want to be Tuesday, man. I don't want to be the most important day of your life, man. I want to be Tuesday, man. So that film is just so bad. Not even in a so bad it's good way. It's just so bad. But for that one scene alone, that one line of dialogue, mwah.
So one of the most baffling movies I've ever seen is this 2017 flick called Pottersville, starring Michael Shannon. And obviously, I love Christmas, I love Michael Shannon. Both of those elements in one movie sound like a project made for me, but it's not. It's really bad. It's really bad, and that pains me to say because Michael Shannon is so good, and usually he picks such good projects. But this ain't one of them. This is like an abject failure on every single level, more or less, like acting, writing, presentation, just everything goes wrong with it, and it's hard to even walk you through, exactly what is the issue, because it's just the whole. But essentially, it's about Michael Shannon in this town, Pottersville, and he gets absolutely pished up one night. He does a load of booze, and then he gets mistaken for Bigfoot. And then the whole town get convinced that Bigfoot is real, but then he can't come out and say that it's not real and it was just him out on the piss for some reason to kind of save the town and save his friends. It's really weird, man, and it gets like even stranger because he goes to this place where furries get involved, and there's like this cult of furries out in the woods with like most of the townspeople, and they're like involved in it. And like a big part of the plot is about solving this furry conspiracy alongside the Bigfoot one, because Michael Shannon's Bigfoot, and it's not as funny as this description might make it out to be. It is in a kind of, jaw-dropping, baffling way, what the hell am I watching kind of way. But ultimately, what I do love about it is that central premise is the fact that Michael Shannon gets mistaken for Bigfoot in a better movie with a better director, a better writer. Like, I would love to watch him kind of have to deal with that, to deal with the fact that he's gone out on the piss, he's drank a lot of whiskey and beer and booze, and now he has to pretend to be Bigfoot for a bit. Like, that is a funny concept. It's just in this deeply unfunny movie, and I'd like to just pluck that central premise out. And Michael Shannon along with it, because what's the point if you don't have Michael Shannon, and just throw it to like a better director. Like, just tossing it over the fence, and he'll catch it and mold a good film out of it, because, I've lost my mind talking about it now, but someone might be able to harness that madcap energy and make something good out of it,
So the best part from the worst movie, or my hated movie, a movie that I hate, has to be the baseball scene in Twilight. I'm sorry, but that scene is epic. It's pretty much the only thing that I remember about Twilight, actually, because it is just so good. The fact that, it's all dark and dingy and grayscale, and they're all playing baseball, but obviously they're like super strong, so there's like every time someone hits a ball or catches a ball, there's like the sound of thunder ringing out and like lightning striking and stuff, and it's just super, super cool. And I think they say something like they have to play quiet during a storm because they are so powerful and the noises they make matches the thunder, or it's mistaken for thunder, something like that. I don't 100% remember, okay? I've listened to Twilight once, I hated it, and all I remember is literally this scene. But I just remember it being super epic, and the fact that they had Muse playing as the soundtrack, Supermassive Black Hole, is freaking amazing. It was the first time I ever heard that song was in this scene, and I absolutely loved it. I just thought it was the most badass, epic song I've ever heard, and yeah, and it just introduced me to my love of Muse. I love Muse, I love their music, and having this song that I hadn't actually heard from them because I hadn't listened to them in a while, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And it was just really well choreographed. It was really well shot. They're all sort of jumping around and flipping around and doing all this sort of stuff. And yeah, it's just really epic. It's just stupid, epic, badass, vampire fun. And it's the only time really in that movie where they seem badass and not sparkly little dweebs. So yeah, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but the baseball scene in Twilight is epic. And you cannot tell me otherwise.
Right, so I'm just going to jump in straight away here and say this is not my most hated movie. It's not even a film I don't like. It's one that I've seen many times and do actually enjoy quite a lot. But, Ash Millman of the people, Ash Millman, the people's voice, they say, is going to talk about a film that I know many do not like because I want to give you something good about it. I want to give you something to enjoy in this cruel, harsh world, and that is Sucker Punch. People hate Sucker Punch. People do not like Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch, and I think that's wrong. I do not agree, and I could stand here and defend it all day with many different points, but I'm going to give you one of the best things about Sucker Punch, people's disliked Sucker Punch movie, and that is the end when the credits roll. And that's not sarcastic. That is not sarcastic, because you get this beautiful soundtrack moment where a song kicks in called Love is the Drug, and it's a cover by Carla Gugino and Oscar Isaac, two actors who should have never sung together, but they do for you in Sucker Punch at the end of the film. They come together, they deliver Love is the Drug cover, and oh my god, it is the best part of this film. Now I say it's when the credits roll, but if you watch the extended edition, it is in the film, so you get that lovely little treat. You get to see more Sucker Punch, which is arguably a good thing. That's all I've got to say there, no words, just face. But yeah, you get to see more Sucker Punch and you get to see the song. And this song is the best part of people's most hated movie, Sucker Punch, because again, Oscar Isaac and Carla Gugino, but it boils everything down that this film is, and people argue it being like a music video because it's got no substance, it's all style. But this is a music video that goes to this wonderful song, and it boils all the things about Sucker Punch into one moment, which is set pieces and just ridiculous rhinestone, campy, joyous energy. It is so good. Google Sucker Punch Love is the Drug cover, and you'll see the joys that it has to offer, because they are plentiful. Carla Gugino doing her Eastern European accent throughout the whole film. She commits to it for the song as well and rolls her R's so magnificently. You get these wonderful R moments, and oh my god, it's just a gift. It's a chef's kiss moment. If you don't like Sucker Punch, you will like the Sucker Punch Love is the Drug cover by Oscar Isaac and Carla Gugino. Like, there's no way people can not like this song. It's the gift. It's the gift that this song has given. It's the gift that this film has given the world, sorry. It's the gift that this film has given the world, and more people need to see it. More people need to watch it. More people need to experience this ascension, because maybe you'll like Sucker Punch at the end of it. Maybe you will. I'm not saying you will, but maybe you will. Maybe you'll appreciate some new facets of it and say it is not people's most hated Sucker Punch. This is the gift I give to you. Love is a Drug cover, Sucker Punch, Ash out. Voice of the people, Ash out.
If we're ever talking about films that I just didn't like, things that completely were just the most disappointing thing ever, it's going to be Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm not going to talk about that movie too much because we're going to talk about positive things. So it's all right, we'll just focus on the good stuff. Because for me, the bit where I leapt off my chair and went, yes! In The Last Jedi is the bit after Rey catches the lightsaber that cuts Snoke in half, and her and Kylo just get to decimate all of the Sith Trooper Red lads that are all around the throne room. That whole fight scene is brilliant, and yes, I know that post-launch we all went back to it and slowed it down and realised that actually the fight choreography is a bit naff, and some guy in the corner is just sort of standing there waiting to fight, and it's not as tight as you think. But it doesn't matter, because the first time through, watching that at midnight, the midnight launch, watching all those plot threads come together, like I said, being utterly, utterly disappointed, the bit where Snoke gets killed and the movie is at its zenith of the risk that it's taking, this idea that Kylo and Rey can be together, and oh my god, what does that mean for the future of Star Wars, before they pull that all back and make Kylo just one-dimensionally evil again. It's great, and that fight scene is brilliant, and I just love the way it all goes together. From the as soon as it goes from slow motion to regular speed, and they just start hacking the living shit of everything, it's just brilliant. And catching the lightsaber and spiking that dude's eye out for the big finish. It's brilliant. Again, it sucks that they couldn't go anywhere after that, but that's the peak. That's the absolute peak of the risk that Rian Johnson was taking, the injection of originality into the Star Wars mythos. And at the time, I went with it until she turns his hand away and everything just goes back to normal, and then we got Rise of Skywalker. So, yeah.
Okay, so the best part of my most hated film. I will say right now that I don't tend to dwell on hated films, because if they're in my brain, they're taking up space for films that I actually love, and I love a lot of films, so they just kind of exit there. And if a film is going to stay there that I genuinely, I'm like, oh, I really, really hate that film, it's because I really, really do hate it. And the two films that I hate the most, I feel, that I have seen are Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad. Now, if I was going to pick one that I hate the most out of either of them, it would be Suicide Squad. And generally, just the reason why I don't like those films is because I personally feel as though they're a misrepresentation of the best qualities of the DC universe, the qualities of the DC comics that I love and grew up on. I feel as though they're just too dark and dingy and kind of just antithetical to the whole universe, but whatever, that's a completely different topic. If you like those films, that's fine, I don't care. But Suicide Squad, I particularly hate because it was just so unambitious and, to me, really kind of squandered the potential of a Suicide Squad movie, which hopefully we'll see with the James Gunn one, hopefully. It looks really, really promising and good, so hopefully that goes in there. But of course, one of the main problems with the first Suicide Squad movie was that it was just basically just trying to cash in on Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, the film was cut by a trailer company, they had a generic soundtrack with every single, song every single, cliched song that you'd expect to be in a film apart from Hallelujah, which is covered by other DCU films now. But, you have Creedence Clearwater Revival playing with a helicopter military thing going on. It's just dumb. And there is no character development in this film. It's just a series of montages and vignettes, and we're expected to care about the characters, even though each and every one is despicable. No surprise, the best scene in that film is the one scene they dedicate to actual character development, and that is the bar scene. Now, it's not great still, they're doing the bare minimum, but to me that scene where all the squad members are just kind of just chatting and, really sharing stories or whatever, I feel as though that is the one bit of that film where they actually understood the appeal of these characters, and the massive shame about it is that it's so bolted on. They get to the end of the film, they're like, oh crap, we haven't really done much actual anything with these characters, so let's have them sit in a bar, and it's entertaining. It's fine. I mean, it's still kind of 2016 Suicide Squad cringe, but it is actually watchable, which is something I can't say for the rest of the film. But yeah, no, I like it, so that'll be it. Suicide Squad, the bar scene. The best part of that really bad film. Yeah.